A bottle draped in kanji, priced like a premium import, containing 0 whiskey distilled in Japan. Completely legal. For decades, Japan had no law defining Japanese whiskey. Importers bottled bulk Scotch and Canadian whiskey on Japanese soil and sold the costume. We're counting down 5 signs that expose these bottles on site, each paired with a genuine alternative. The first is the fastest check you can make on any shelf. Sign number 1. No distillery named anywhere. Genuine Japanese whiskey makers proudly display the distillery of origin on the label. High-caliber producers like Yamazaki, Yoichi, Hakushu, Chichibu, and Mars Shinshu place their distillery names front and center because domestic distillation is their proof of heritage. When a bottle features only a poetic brand name wrapped in kanji, it often masks the actual source of the liquid. Distillers do not hide their facilities unless they have to. In many cases, naming a Japanese distillery on the label is impossible because the spirit was actually imported from Scotland or Canada in bulk, then diluted and bottled locally. This reality establishes a clear rule for buyers. If you cannot find a specific, operating Japanese distillery listed on the label, assume no distilling occurred in Japan. Sourcing bulk whiskey from overseas is a standard global practice, but presenting foreign liquid as domestic craftsmanship is deceptive. Instead of gambling on mysterious labels, consider Suntory Toki, which retails for around $35 to $45. Suntory remains entirely transparent about the makeup of this accessible blend. The bottle contains authentic Japanese whiskey sourced directly from 3 of the company's domestic sites: malt from Hakushu and Yamazaki, combined with clean grain whiskey from Chita. Selecting a bottle with verifiable distillery origins ensures your money goes toward genuine Japanese heritage rather than clever marketing. Sign number 2. The product of Japan label dodge. This warning moves past what a label leaves out and focuses on what it carefully claims. Buyers accustomed to Scotch provenance often trust phrases like product of Japan, bottled in Japan, or Japanese craftsmanship. However, these terms describe the packaging process rather than the distillation source. These semantic choices exploit the assumptions of international consumers who equate bottling location with the actual source of the liquid. Under historical Japanese labeling gaps, a company can import bulk Scotch or Canadian grain whiskey, add local water, bottle the liquid inside the country, and legally print product of Japan on the front. The bottling occurs locally, making the statement technically true, even if the liquid never saw a Japanese pot still. Importing bulk whiskey is legal, but presenting foreign liquid as domestic craftsmanship misleads buyers. To bypass this linguistic trap, look for labels specifying that the spirit was distilled in Japan, or look for a registered distillery address. Bottling location does not prove origin. For a bottle with true regional pedigree at this price point, look for Akashi White Oak, which costs around $40. Egashima Distillery, a family-run facility in Hyogo, produces this spirit on-site. Egashima distills and ages every single drop of Akashi White Oak, remaining entirely transparent about its production. This ensures that the bottle on your shelf represents authentic Japanese distilling rather than clever packaging semantics. Sign number 3. An age statement that is too cheap to be true. Global demand for Japanese whiskey surged dramatically following the historic 2001 Yoichi blind tasting victory, quickly draining the country's mature warehouse reserves. By 2015, the stock crisis forced Suntory to discontinue Hibiki 12, followed soon after by the painful withdrawals of legendary expressions like Hibiki 17 and Hakushu 12. Because those warehouses ran completely dry, authentic aged Japanese whiskey is incredibly scarce today. Benchmark bottles like Yamazaki 12 routinely command well over $150, establishing a clear baseline for what genuine mature stock actually costs to buy. This severe shortage means the math on cheap bottles simply fails. Finding a 15-year-old bottle labeled as Japanese whiskey for $60 is mathematically implausible. Distilleries cannot afford to age domestic spirits for over a decade and sell them at a loss. If a bottle offers a high age statement at a bargain price, It strongly suggests the liquid inside is actually imported bulk whiskey sourced from Canada or Scotland, rather than spirit distilled in Japan. Instead of gambling on suspicious age claims, look for Nikka from the barrel, which typically retails between $55 and $75. While it carries no age statement, Nikka is entirely transparent about its origin. The liquid is fully distilled and blended by Nikka, bottled at a robust 51.4% alcohol by volume, and delivers the rich, complex character of true Japanese craftsmanship without relying on deceptive age statements to justify its place on your shelf. Sign number 4. The costume: samurai, geisha, and heavy kanji. When browsing the whiskey shelf, remember a simple design rule. The heavier the Japanese imagery on the label, the more suspicious you should become. Deceptive bottles often wrap themselves in a theatrical costume, featuring prominent illustrations of samurai armor, geisha art, flying dragons, katanas, or incredibly dense calligraphy. This visual excess is usually a distraction. While genuine producers rely on quiet heritage, these brands use overt cultural symbols to convince you of a Japanese identity that does not exist in the bottle. The elaborate costume exists to do the work that the liquid cannot. In contrast, authentic Japanese distilleries practice extreme restraint. Look at the iconic labels of Yamazaki, Yoichi, or Hibiki. Their packaging is clean, minimalist, and confident, letting the distillery name and liquid speak for themselves without relying on national cliches. If you want a bottle where the design carries genuine, purposeful meaning, reach for Hibiki Japanese Harmony, which typically retails between $85 and $110. This elegant blend contains authentic malt and grain whiskeys matured at Suntory's domestic distilleries. Instead of plastering a warrior on the glass, Suntory presents the liquid in a striking 24-facet bottle. Each facet represents one of the 24 traditional seasons of the old Japanese calendar, reflecting the precise passage of time and nature. This thoughtful craftsmanship shows that when a bottle is truly Japanese, the beauty is baked into its heritage, not pasted on as a cheap marketing disguise. Sign number 5. A brand younger than its own whiskey. If a brand founded only 5 years ago is selling a 12-year-old aged whiskey, the physical chronology itself reveals that the liquid must have come from somewhere else. The math either works, or it does not. When evaluating a bottle, always compare the brand's active distilling history with its oldest age statement. A severe mismatch here is a definitive proof of foreign sourcing, where mature bulk Scotch or Canadian whiskey has been imported and repackaged under a Japanese name. Legitimate newer distilleries like Akeishi, founded in 2016, and Konosuke, established in 2017, show how a modern producer can build a reputation the right way. They release young whiskeys honestly and label them with complete transparency, proving that authentic domestic craft does not need to fake its maturity to succeed on the global stage. If you want a bottle with a verifiable timeline at a fair price, look for Mars EY Tradition, which typically retails for around $50 to $60. This complex blend comes from Mars Shinshu, a distillery located high in the Japanese Alps of Nagano, with a real production history dating back to 1985. Selecting a bottle with an aligned history guarantees that your money goes toward genuine Japanese distilling heritage, rather than clever marketing semantics. This is Uncorking Japan. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Across these 5 signs, one truth emerges. Authentic Japanese whiskey isn't defined by theatrical packaging, but by traceable provenance. The issue isn't where the liquid was distilled, but the transparency of the brand. This is Uncorking Japan. If you enjoyed this guide, please like and subscribe.